Welcome back, and my final guest is Clarkstown's newest captain. Let me start over. And welcome back. My next guest is Clarkstown's newest police captain, Captain Jeff Wanamaker. Welcome, Captain Wanamaker.
Oh, thank you. Pleasure to be here.
So, Captain, I'm delighted to have you on our program. You're our newest police captain, and you come from a long line of police, including former police chief in Orangetown. So, very happy to have you on the program, but delighted that you're our newest captain for the police department. Before we kind of jump into that, let's talk a little bit about your background for the benefit of our residents, so they can learn a little bit about the second in command of the largest police department in Rockland County.
Sure. Lifelong Clarkstown resident, was born and raised in Upper Nyack, New York. In fact, my dad still lives on the same street he was born on, so I have deep roots in the community here. I attended Nyack High School, graduated from SUNY Oneonta with a BS in economics, got a master's at Seton Hall University in education, and attended the FBI National Academy. So my background educationally, I think, suits me well for the job. When I got my master's when I was still a patrolman with the police department. I'm involved in the community a lot. Coach most of my children's sporting events, Nyack Valley College Little League.
How many kids?
Three. And I'll
Yeah.
be very proud to talk about them in the family. I was involved in, I'm on board of directors of what's called Inspire Nyack, which is the fundraising arm for a lot of the STEM programs in the Nyack School District, and served on advisory committees for the school district. In fact, I saw one got awarded. I was on that committee for the sporting facility at Nyack High School. So proud of that achievement and involvement.
And one of your kids is an Eagle Scout. He's in college now, right?
Yes.
So just a little thumbnail sketch of your kids.
Sure. I'll start with my oldest, Kara. She is a senior and she's finishing her last year of her master's in music therapy. She currently has an internship at Mount Sinai Hospital.
Oh, that's great.
My middle one, Kyle, who you just spoke about, he's a senior at Geneseo. He's getting a BS in business administration. He has an ROTC scholarship. When he graduates, he'll be commissioned as a second lieutenant in the U.S. Army. He wants to get into aviation. He wants to be a helicopter pilot.
Oh, that's great.
And
I remember, it's hard to believe he's a senior, because I remember being at his Eagle Scout ceremony at I think it was at Nyack High School, right?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
Yes, and proud of that Eagle. It's amazing what the Eagle can get you. Just his scholarship, getting that, is because of his Eagle Scout.
Wow.
Very, very important. And my youngest, Allison, is a sophomore at Penn State University, and she is studying engineering. She got into the engineering college as a freshman, which is pretty a remarkable feat on her part.
So your father was a police chief, correct?
Yes.
So what's it like? Not the same department, but you're kind of following in the footsteps, and you've had other relatives. The Wanamaker family has been around Rockland County for well over 100 years, right?
Oh yeah.
The old saying, you couldn't swing a dead cat without hitting a Wanamaker way back when. But,
I've heard that before.
But what was it like growing up, having your dad, as the police chief?
It really helped me in my current position. I had a great mentor. I think my sense of humor I get from Mom, but my drive and what I've learned from him is do what's right. There's a phrase in the cadet prayer at West Point that says, choose the harder right than the easier wrong. And that's basically how my parents raised me. That's how he was a chief. That's how he ran the police department. And then sometimes it's difficult, especially when you have a tight community and you know everyone. But we live by that, and I'm here today because of both my parents.
So let's move on to your police career. So how long have you been in the Clarkstown Police Department? How did you start?
31 years. Like in New York, you have to take that civil service test, and I was taking them for locally. Took the state police, looked at the uniform Secret Service. I was fortunate enough to do very well. I think that the college experience does help the study for that test. Got hired, was Chief Schnackenberg. And from there I was patrolman for about 11 years from there, I was promoted to a detective assigned to Juvenile Aid Bureau, which I think was a great experience.
Right.
Not only are you dealing with the crimes against children and committed by children, but I also was involved in a lot of the more serious adult-driven crimes. And it was an eye-opener. That was a great experience. You know, I got a flavor for the Detective Bureau, and then from there I became a patrol sergeant. So now I know that patrol detective and that interaction. You know, sometimes there's a communication lack of it, but I was able to help understand each side, which is a great benefit. From there, I went to Special Ops Sergeant, which deals with, it was my anti-crime, the canine community police, and again, I'll talk about community police and how much the police need to really get involved in community. And that unit dealt a lot with quality of life crimes, the Traffic Bureau also. When I got into it, the opiate addiction really just started with the OxyContin and then heroin, and we see how that's exploded. Right. From there, I went to patrol lieutenant, was basically a shift commander, to admin lieutenant, to my current position as captain. And every part of my career has helped me really run the police department with Chief McCullough.
Yeah, no, it's great. We have a really strong leadership team in place in the police department with yourself, with Chief McCullough, and we've actually downsized the leadership there. We went from 2 captains to 1 captain. So in effect, you're doing the job of 2 captains with the support of some subordinate staff. But and I and the town board very much appreciate the fact that the police department is looking at ways in which it can really save money but not jeopardize public service. And I know that you've taken on a lot of different tasks and are really an essential member of the leadership there and of the department itself. So, and a great reputation within the policing community as well. It was a great thing for me as the supervisor, having conversations with other leaders within Rockland County after your appointment, or just as you were being appointed, for everybody from the sheriff to other town supervisors and other police chiefs, saying, "Wow, you've really got a good team in place." McCullough and Wanamaker, you're very fortunate. So, and specifically after your appointment as police captain, and a number of those individuals either reach out to me directly or I saw them at meetings, who were like, way to go, congratulations on really promoting a great guy into the captain spot. So you're to be commended because your reputation is stellar within the policing community.
Well, thank you. It's an honor.
So let's talk a little bit about how you felt about being promoted to captain, because you're really, I've been in both chairs, if you will, not in the police department, but throughout my career in not-for-profit and even my career in politics and government. There's a big difference. You kind of moving yourself up through the field. I mean, I did it in the not-for-profit sector from, just above entry level, through administrators up all the way up to an executive director of an agency, and sometimes the number 2 position is even more challenging than the number 1 position, because you're always the bridesmaid, never the bride in some senses, but you've got a lot of things that you've got to take care of that if you don't do right, it's going to reflect poorly on the entire organization and the leader of the organization. So what was it like for you as you were contemplating applying for the captain's opening and actually getting promoted?
Again, it's a great honor. I've had a great career. The men and women of Clarkstown Police through the years, I couldn't speak more highly about them. So to go up that rank, and I can honestly say my dad being a chief is part of that drive. There's that legacy. For me, I outrank my brother now, who retired as a lieutenant in the Jersey State Police. So that's a proud achievement on my part. Everyone, as you know, when you're down to lower tiers, I could do this better. I could do this better. I could do this better. Well, I'm in that position now to make changes that I think would benefit the police department, that would benefit the community, and it's an outstanding community that we live in. I chose to raise my family here. I can't think of a better place to live, and I want to continue that legacy of a great community to live in.
And which we are, and which you guys are with the new leadership there. Let's talk about some of the priorities. You touched on them earlier about community policing, but let's talk about some of the priorities that Chief McCullough and you are kind of moving through on behalf of the town and the administration.
As you know, we do have a community police officer, and the community police, Officer Valerio, is great of getting out there and helping with a lot of the civil disputes and stuff that's not necessarily criminal, but he's a great asset to the police department. What I want to, along with Chief McCullough, and follow his vision, is continue with the whole police department, get that community involvement, from Coffee with a Cop.
Mm-hmm.
We have
and we're going to roll some photos as you're talking of,
Okay.
of the Coffee with a Cop experience. Maybe just explain how that went. We've had a couple of them so far.
great feedback. It puts a face. It makes a police officer human.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times I don't get recognized when I'm out of uniform, which
Right.
sometimes is good.
Mm-hmm.
But when you see that uniform on, it's almost a different vision that people have of the police.
Right.
We want to make that a more approachable
Right.
way of talking to the police, and whatever issues you have,
Mm-hmm.
let us know. Do not hesitate to call
Right.
the police. Do not hesitate to approach us.
So the Coffee with the Cop, the first one was done at the McDonald's in Central Nyack earlier in the late spring. We had one over the summer over at Panera Bread and Nanny Wet, where basically you're out in the community and you may not see your local police officer, but having a couple of police officers there to provide information and just talk one-on-one. And based on the Coffee with a Cop in Central Nyack, there were several community groups that came out that are looking to sponsor some awareness programs on gun safety. It was just a great way to kind of connect with people in the community. So that's new. It's something that was an initiative that you and Chief McCullough brought along, and you to be commended on that. Let's talk about, beyond the Coffee with a Cop, some of the other community policing things that you guys are bringing forward.
Well, we attend all the civic meetings, and what I want to try to start implementing is not only the community police officer showing up, but the officers that are assigned to that area to start showing up at these meetings and listening to some of the, I can't say grievances or concerns that individuals have in their particular hamlet or community, and then put a face. There's one thing, technology's been great with helping solve crimes in law enforcement, but it also, you somewhat lose that face-to-face interaction, because we have our smart force. We have these virtual briefings that all the areas of concern to check on are on our screen, so they're written on a screen, but let's go out and talk to the community. Let's find out who is patrolling your area. A lot of times people don't call the police department because things are going great.
Right.
It's usually something very traumatic is happening in their lives. For us, it could be a small event, but for the person calling is a very big event for them. And we want and continue on to treat that as a top priority, and I do believe we do that exceptional. I get a lot of comments from the community about how good we handle, especially emergencies and professionalism, and I want to continue that even on the smallest event that occurs.
And I know we've got, aside from that, another new initiative that the department's brought along is the Cop on a Beat program. Maybe you could speak about that.
Yeah, we want to get the boots on the ground, having an officer in our more business district areas, talking to the business owners and just seeing the face and getting out there and getting approachable, finding out. A lot of times you hear, I don't want to call the police, I don't want to bother you. Well, bother us. And this is a way that it's a personal relationship that you can air anything out. Hey,
Right.
Can you check this? Can you check that? I didn't want to call up the police and bother you. By having that cop on the beat, they'll feel more comfortable to whatever it is. If a traffic event, if you feel like there's some drug activity somewhere, or the skateboarders in the park.
Right. So it was extremely well received. I know, talking with Jerry O'Rourke, the president of the Congress Civic Association, we had Officer Jackie Kennedy who actually throughout this program has been detailed into New City to meet with some of the business owners, and then recently was in Congers, and just to walk and put a face with the name and pop in and see the business owners and provide information, give a contact card. And it's that type of communication and contact that's going to give confidence to the people that, and it puts the name with a face to help them to really, if they want to reach out. And there can be some tips that they're offering, you know, of things that they've got concerns with, maybe not directly related to law enforcement, but quality of life more, you know, issues. But you know, but it's a great program, and it's a multifaceted program that Chief McCullough and you have kind of you know, tried to roll out there. The coffees with the cop on the beat, and just the integration of the entire department with the community to really continue to not just promote how folks can kind of help with solving crimes, but just how people can kind of get more connected as a community. And that's really, I think, a tremendous benefit and value of that program.
Oh, absolutely. It's what's one of the best crime preventions is a good neighbor. And we want to be that, continue to be that good neighbor, and you see something, say something.
Right. So we're just about out of time. Captain Wanamaker, I want to thank you for being a great guest.
I have one more thing,
Sure.
because I'm in trouble if I don't bring this up.
Sure.
I talked about my kids. I have raising my kids, my wife Laura.
Okay.
We've been our 25th wedding anniversary is coming up, and she's been very instrumental on you know, I'm proud of my kids and helping raising them. Fantastic wife, and I have to put my shout out to her also.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I should have mentioned that earlier. Absolutely. Yeah. None of us, you know, in our careers of public service, you know, for those of us that are married, would ever be, you know, where we are without the support of our wives and our families, and it's and that rings true.
Especially a wife of a police officer, any
Yes.
police officer, because of the shift work. You know, when I worked 4 to 12s and had a, let's see, a 4-year-old, 2-year-old, a newborn, it was a big burden.
Yeah.
And you know, my kids were raised great and came out great, and a lot. I have to tip my hat to her.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Well, Captain, I think this has been a great opportunity for the residents of Clarkstown to learn a little bit about the number 2 person in command in the largest police department in Rockland County. Great to hear a little bit about you, or let our residents learn about you, but also to see some of the new initiatives that are coming forward from the police department. So I want to thank you for your longtime service to the town, and I want to thank you for being such a great guest.
Appreciate it. Thank you. It's been an honor.
Great. And we'll be right back. Stay tuned.